If I were to ask you what 186,579 times 9,523 is, could you answer that? I'd really be surprised if you could, because that is a very hard problem for you to answer on your own, just using your brain, like just mental math. I mean, you can go and get paper and a pencil, but that's very time consuming and no one wants to do that, especially if you're like in a math class or a science class, and the math in between isn't important, just the value. It's just a waste of time. Now, if there was only a way that a calculation like that could be done instantly, there is. It's the math teacher's worst enemy. It's called a... You got one. Can I borrow that real quick? That's right. Thank you. It's called a calculator. Now, a calculator, basically, it's just a machine that has buttons on it, and when you type the buttons in, it'll input it in. And when you could type in math equations, science equations, you can make graphs, anything of that sort. Now, after you do that, you type equals, and it'll solve it for you. Like, you already typed this equation in the calculator, and that's very smart. You're however a few steps ahead. And the value was 1,776,791,817. There's no way any of us could have gotten that just by using our brain. Now we know what it does. Now, why does it have such a great impact on society?
The impacts of calculators on modern society include instant calculations, graphical abilities, derivations, and many more mathematical processes. These uses are impactful, especially in settings such as a classroom. Calculator usage is now more accessible than ever because of smartphones being able to fit in your pocket for day-to-day use. Calculators have even gone as far as to be able to access the internet, download programs, and quicken equation plugins, and even play games, surprisingly. The calculator is invaluable to our society and is a staple in many lives and educational careers.
So how do calculators actually work? Well, when you press a number, the button pushes on an electrical wire into contact with another one, creating a circuit between them. Since calculators process in binary form, when you press down the button, it converts that number into binary form. It does this by transmitting the current to transistors that act as electrical switches that have two positions, on and off. The on position is represented by the number 1, and the off position is by the number 0. This creates the binary string that gets passed through the logical gate, which is just an electrical component of the circuit board that compares the different numbers in the functions you input, like addition or subtraction, to calculate the answer. Once the answer is computed, it is then converted back to the normal base 10 system and gets output to the calculator display.
The calculator has one of the biggest impacts on our society because of its versatility. Whether it's used to find the derivative of a complex equation or used to calculate 1 plus 1, its applications are limited by our own programming. Calculators have advanced from using rocks and beads to binary code, which allows us to even go onto the internet with calculators. You can even download programs and video games onto calculators. Without calculators, we would be stuck doing pages of tedious math just to solve a single equation. Without the calculator, we wouldn't have many of the inventions we have today, since math is so integral to engineering and science.